Hello, Elly here from Thankful Flow Yoga. Thank you for joining me for another YouTube practice. Today we are going to be doing a bit of a power flow. It's going to be a bit of a dynamic sequence, but we will have plenty of options as always throughout, so always listening to your body, taking what you need. So we will start in a comfortable seated position on your mat. You can be cross-legged, you can have your legs out in front if you prefer. And we're going to bring the hands to the heart center, so you can place one hand over the other. Just be careful of my mic. And start to close down the eyes, or you can take the gaze out in front. I want you to start to observe your breath and where your breath travels to within your body. So maybe you can feel the chest rise and fall with your breath. Maybe you can feel that breath traveling into your abdomen, the belly. Just notice whatever is there for you. Allow your shoulders and your shoulder blades to relax. Let go of any tension in the face, the jaw, the mouth. Listening to the breath, letting the breath lead your movement today. Leading with the breath, following with the body, and observing with the mind. Releasing the hands, opening the eyes back up. Just starting to move into the shoulders a little bit now. We're going to inhale, bring the arms up to the sky. Exhale, float them around. And keep moving the arms around in these circles with the breath. And I just want you to notice as you move the arms how the shoulder area feels, the neck, the spine. Just seeing what you can observe in this area. If you don't feel much in this area at all, just know that that is okay too. Keep observing. Come back in the opposite direction. Inhaling and exhaling. Trying to keep the spine nice and neutral here. So using a little bit of core to stabilize. Well done. Now we're going to bring the hands out behind. So leave a bit of space between your hands and your hips. You can either have the fingers pointing in or pointing out behind, depending on what feels right for you. The feet are roughly hip width apart. So finding our inclined plane position. So we'll do 2 rounds of this. So for the first round, we'll keep the legs bent. As you inhale, bringing your weight into the hands and the feet, press the hips up towards the sky. If it feels good to, you can drop the head back, breathing here. So this is a really good movement for the arms, the nerves, the fascia in the arms and shoulder area. The connective tissue. Also strengthening the back of the body that supports our spine. Exhale, release the hips down to the mat. Well done. Take a little shake out through the arms, the hands. Releasing any stagnant energy here. Releasing anything that's not serving you today. Shaking it off. Lovely. Bring your hands back to that position. This time, lengthen through the legs. Inhale, ground the hands into the mat, lift the hips away, drop the head back. Breathing here. One more breath. And release the hips down to the mat with control. Release the hands, take another little shake out. I've got my little patch of light has come to join me today. Wasn't here earlier. Do apologise. I'm sure you can still see me. Right, So coming into tabletop position, find your all fours position on the mat, tuck the toes under. On your exhale, send the hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Start to take a pedal out through the feet, working into the backs of the legs. And then finding a little bit of stillness in your downward facing dog. We're just going to start to lift this right leg away from the mat. So sweeping that right leg up, finding your 3-leg dog. And you can adjust the hands here for this. We're going to play with a little bit of balance. So have some fun with this. If you wobble and roll around, then just remember that there's nothing wrong with that. Just be careful at the same time. So seeing if you can start to balance this right hand away from the mat too. So really lifting, pressing this left hand into the mat, grounding as you take the right hand away. And then maybe seeing if you can bend through that right leg. Maybe the hand finds the foot. Press the hand into the foot here. Bringing the hand and the leg back down. Well done. Take a moment here to breathe. So try and keep a playfulness about you with this one. This is a really challenging bit of balance. So lifting the left foot away this time, sweeping it up to the sky, finding that 3-leg dog position. Keep tapping it down. Don't worry if you're rolling around all over the shop, that's okay. Maybe bend the left leg, take the hand to the foot, and you can start to press the foot into the hand here. Okay, and trying to release with control. Come back to that downward facing dog. Bend through the legs, jump the feet into the outside of the hands, toes pointing out, sit the hips down, find your Malasana, your yogic squat. Lifting through the chest, crown of the head's reaching towards the ceiling. Don't worry if you're up on the toes here or if you need some support, blocks rolling up your mat, then take that. Inhale, power through the legs, coming up to standing. Step the feet in together, find your Tadasana mountain pose. Just let the arms come to the side of the body. Relax the neck, the shoulders. Inhale, sweep the hands up to the sky, grow the spine tall. Exhale, hinge from the hips, forward fold. Inhale, lift the chest, lengthen the spine, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, hands come down to the mat, step the feet back and work through your chaturanga. Inhaling through into an upward facing dog or cobra. And exhaling back to a downward facing dog. Reconnecting with your breath. Checking in with how you're feeling today, mentally, physically, emotionally. Allowing space for whatever is there. Inhale, gaze comes between the hands. Step or jump the feet in. Lift the chest, lengthen the spine. Find your halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the legs as much as you need to. Inhale, sweep the fingertips up to the sky. Grow the spine tall. Exhale, float the hands through to heart center and Jali Mudra. Inhale, reach the fingertips back up. Lift the ribs away from the hips. Exhale, bend the legs as much as you need to. Uttanasana. Lift the chest, lengthen the spine. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Step or jump the feet back to plank. Move through your chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhaling back to your downward facing dog. Checking in with the breath, the body, remembering you can take a child's pose at any time if you need to in this practice. Inhale, lift that right foot away from the mat, step it through between the hands, find your warrior one, so back heel is down, lifting up and out from the waist. Exhale, float the hands down, take an interlace behind your back, opening across the chest. Inhale here first, lift up and out from the pelvis. As you exhale, folding forwards, finding that humble warrior. Breathing here. Keep pressing the feet down and away into the mat to help you stabilize. Inhale with control, lifting the chest back up. Coming back to neutral, release your hands from the interlace. You might like to step this back foot in slightly, lengthen through both legs, and we're going to find our way into our revolved Trikonasana. So you may like to grab a block here and have the block on the outside of your right foot, fingertips reaching up to the sky, following with the gaze. So this is a really deep twist. So just taking any support that you need. Breathing here. Now, finding a little softness in this right leg might help here with this transition. We're bringing the weight into the right leg. Left hand is coming down to the mat or staying with your block. We're finding our revolved Ardha Chandrasana, revolved half moon. Breathing. Well done for staying with me. And we're going to float the hands back around to frame that front foot. Step the feet back. And come through your chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhaling back to your downward facing dog. Finding your breath, your prana, your life force energy. This time we inhale, step the left foot through between the hands, back heel stays down, find that warrior one, fingertips reaching up to the sky, lifting up and out from the pelvis. Exhale, float the arms down, find the interlace behind the back. Inhale first, find the length. Exhale, we fold down, finding your humble warrior. Breathing here, letting the head drop down if that's in your practice. Keeping that right leg switched on, so the lower body's working here to help support and stabilize. Inhale with control, slowly lift the chest. Coming back up, release the hands from the interlace. Step that right foot in slightly. Grab your block if you're working with a block. And we're going to float over, find our reverse revolved Trikonasana. So my right hand's coming to either the block or the ground on the outside of my left foot. And the left fingertips are reaching up to the sky. Breathing into that space. Sending your breath into the legs, the hips. Keep the back right leg switched on. This can help stabilize. And then you can take some softness through this left leg if you need to. You can also bring your block with you here. The right hand's coming to the block or the mat, and we're opening out for our revolved half moon. So left fingertips should be reaching up towards the sky. Keep breathing into the wobbles, the shakes. Come in and out as many times as you need to. And again, see if you can bring a light-hearted element to this. It's easy to feel frustrated sometimes when we're doing these kind of more advanced postures. But just remember why we're here, stepping it back now to plank. We're here to listen to our body. This is a holistic practice, so it's really, as much as we're doing this physical asana today, so much of this is really not about the physical asana, the physical movements. It's about our connection and how we feel as we do the movements. Inhale, come through your upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Feeling that heat. Hopefully you're feeling that heat. I certainly am. Press the mat away with your hands. Okay, I'm going to give an option now. So you can either take a lovely child's pose, or you can walk the feet in. You're going to take some bunny hops to handstand. If handstand's in your practice, you're going to kick up to handstand. Just be really careful, as always. You're doing this from home. I'm not there with you. So making sure that you are listening to your body, being careful, having support. So either going to do 5 bunny hops. Maybe you're kicking up to handstand or hopping up. And then we're going to meet back in downward facing dog when you're done. Okay, so coming back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, shift the shoulders forwards. Exhale, drop your knees down to the mat. Keep the elbows tucked in towards the body. Lower your chest down. So now we're lying on our belly. And we're going to bend the legs in. And bring your arms to the side of the body. Now, if your hands are reaching your feet or your ankles, you're going to take them there. If they're not, you can do this without connecting the hands to the feet. You're just going to stay in this position with the legs bent in, and you're going to have the arms by the side of the body. They're going to lift away from the mat. So if you're doing it without the hands and feet connected, you are inhaling, lifting the chest away from the mat. Arms are lifting up, and then seeing if you can lift your thighs away from the mat. So this is an active version of bow pose. This is not necessarily easier than the other version, let me tell you. So give that a go, see if that works for you. If you want to bring the hands to the feet or the ankles, you're lifting, and what you're doing is you're pressing the feet into the hands into the feet. Breathing here. Try not to let the knees flare out to the side if you're quite open in the hips. We want to keep the legs parallel. So we're taking a little back bend here. We're opening into the chest, the shoulders, the legs. So make sure you stay with the breath. Try and relax your face if you can. Maybe even try and crack a smile here if you can. Oh, well done, and release from your bow pose. Relax everything down to the mat and let your elbows come out to the side. You can rest your head on your hands. Take a couple of breaths here, our crocodile pose. Allow your body to become heavy. Be supported by the ground that's beneath you. Allow your body to be fully received by the ground beneath. One more breath in this resting pose. Unless you wish to stay longer in this resting pose, which again, if that's calling to you today to stay longer here, then I recommend that you honour that feeling and you take that. If you want to come back into a little bit of more gentle movement, we're going to inhale, lift the chest away from the mat, and we're bringing the forearms down, so finding our Sphinx position. So the elbows are underneath the shoulders, the palms are facing the ground, flat on the ground, and we're opening across the chest. Now, adjusting the arms, you might like to bring this left arm into the center line a little bit more. Bend in your right leg and take your right hand to your right ankle and finding a stretch here. So we're stretching into the right quad. So drawing your heel in towards the hips. And release the right leg, coming over onto the other side, so bringing this right arm in a little bit to support you if you need to. Bending the left leg in, drawing that left heel in towards the left hip, finding that stretch. Sometimes it's nicer to just gently press the hips in towards the mat to feel that stretch and that opening. Well done, release that left leg, letting it drop down to the mat. Release the arms and just bring the hands to the side of the body. Keep the elbows tucked in. Inhale, press the mat away. Lift the hips back. And we're gonna find our way to a kneeling or seated position on the mat. Closing off the practice. Bring your hands back to heart center. Close the eyes or take a steady gaze out in front. And come back to your breath. Relax the face, the neck, the shoulders. And just remembering that you are exactly where you need to be right now. And when you're ready, release the hands, open the eyes back up. If you have longer, as always, please do take a longer Shavasana or meditation. Always search through my channel. There are guided meditations and lots of different types of practices on here. So do have a look at that, or come and join my online community where there's lots of different flows, longer, shorter practices, chakras, online retreats included. So do check that out in the link below. Please subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed flowing with me to see more of my flows. Towards the end of the year, I've got some really exciting things planned for this YouTube channel. So yeah, please do subscribe, make sure that you don't miss out on that. And I can't wait to see you again very soon. Take care, bye bye.